time for the doubt, they counting me out, I'm getting it in, yeah. No time for no loss, I'm paying the cost, I'm in it to win, yeah. Refuse, mine, it can't be diffused. If you ain't thinking the same, then we playing by different rules. You can't see the vision, we living at different views. Until we complete the mission, keep getting up, never snooze. I walked a mile in my shoes, had the mind of a fool, chasing diamonds and jewels. Trust me, I was confused. Started minding my business and used my mind as a tool. Ended up finding my purpose and found the time to get to it. They told me I couldn't do it, they told me I couldn't make it. They sold it, could never break it. That's sadly mistaken. I need a piece of the pie, I want it so bad I can taste it. They told me, keep on running toes, they gon' take them. Used to lose, built to win, applied myself, I felt it in. No time for the doubt, they counting me out, I'm getting it in, yeah. No time for no loss, I pay for the cost, I'm winning to win, yeah. Refuse to lose, I'm built to win, apply myself.
Welcome back to CTC. I'm your gracious host, Carl, and I'm back with another episode. Should be 2 tonight. This one, we're going to talk about some MSU, man. It's a one-off episode talking about the Spartans. Just ended the regular season in review. I got a special guest, but before I introduce my special guest, I'd like to ask you to leave a like, comment, share, subscribe. It helps the channel, it helps the network. It helps my channel, CTC, by way of the Refuse to Lose network. I don't even know why this joint is normally not this zoomed in. I don't know what is going on. I did not pay attention to this layout. There we go. We back. All right, cool. So, boom, right? We got other shows like the main show featuring Joe, Tomo, and Dave every Tuesday and Friday. Every Tuesday, Friday, 7 o'clock Eastern time, so about 8:30-ish. Make sure you check them out. We got Unfazed featuring Joe and AJ every 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central on Tuesday. 8 o'clock for all my guys, AJ in Minnesota, Joe, Eastern time, 9 o'clock. Boom, we got BWT Baseball with Teddy. We are slowly but surely walking down the Tokyo series. I believe that's with the Cubs and the Dodgers. Regular season is around the corner. Opening days 2-3 weeks away. Let's go Tigers. So make sure y'all check him out. We got Dave's Doghouse, highlights and lowlights of sports. Make sure y'all check him out. He just dropped the episode. FFC, Fantasy Football with Coach Coombs. Hey, man, Devontae Adams just signed to the Rams. Pretty sure Coach going to talk about that one. So make sure y'all tune into that. We have In the Red Corner featuring Tomo, Ty, and Ricky. Boxing show. They talk boxing. They talked about the Lamont Roach, Javante Davis pay-per-view, not just the fight, but the pay-per-view. They talk about all other boxing topics, so make sure y'all check them out. And last but certainly not least, we got RBO Real Ballers Only, NBA content featuring my boy Vaughn. Magic fan, they just got a big one against the Bucks. My Pistons lost to the freaking Warriors. Draymond Green, MSU alum, hits a 3 to go up 2 late game. Sick about that. I am sick about that. But make sure you check him out. And that's all the shows we have on the network. Got my boy with me. Family to the show. Been on the show multiple times. I went to school with him, like I said before. Both graduate classes of 2016 at MSU. I got my boy Luke with me. Let me bring my boy Luke up. What's good, Luke? Hold on. Before you say something, What's good with you?
Let's get it, dog. I mean, I couldn't ask for a better Sunday, honestly.
Yes, sir. Hey, me neither. Won $20 today. Thanks, Pops. He had the nerve.
Weather's starting to turn, too.
Huh?
Weather's starting to turn. That's that weather's starting to turn here in Chicago. It's a beautiful day here.
Same in
I
Maryland.
got to watch a Michigan State win and a Michigan loss all on the same day at the same time. How could you ask for anything better?
Yes, sir. Man, look, $20. Michigan State won. Got a couple of my tournament picks right today, so we looking good. Pop's definitely paying for dinner today, so shout out to him. Funny story about that. So I'm riding home from work. I call my dad. I sometimes call my dad come home from work. And he just randomly up and goes. I'm like, yeah, we play Sunday. He said, bet 15. I know why he said 15, because he lost the 10 the first time when we beat him at Chrysler. He wanted to bet. So cool. We took the $10 he paid me. So he said, bet 15. I ain't scared. I said, bet the dub. He said, bet. Lock. We locked in. I said, all right, bet. We might just go ahead and spank y'all again. So then, funny story behind that, he calls me. No, I call him. To call him during the game, talking trash. He said, man, let your pop out of this one, man. Let your dad out. I said, nah, you ain't let me out the football bet. because we bad in the regular season of football. You ain't let me out. No, I ain't letting you out. But then, you know me, bro. I got a good heart. It started looking bad, real bad. So I said, you know what? I called him back. Hey, man, you my pops. But I got to leave with something. Just give me 10, give me half. I'll let you out the bet. I got to leave with something. Like, I can't just get nothing out of this. Man, we going to come back. We Michigan. We don't quit. I said, then pay me the whole 20. Click. Halftime. Call me. Man, I'm going to send you your $10, man. I said, what? You mean 20? He said, you said I can get out for 10. I said, yeah, that offer's been pulled. You wanted to be all, we ain't going to quit. Pay me my dub at the end of this game. Long story short, he sent me the dub with like, I think 10 minutes left in the game or something like that. But yeah, man, that was another great feeling to have. So we're just going to talk about it. We are the Big Ten champs outright for the first time, I believe, since 2018, 2019. I believe we won the title, but it was shared a couple years after that. I want to say, 2021 or something like that, but it was shared. But outright champs, man, I want to ask you your thoughts. How do you feel about Michigan State being outright Big Ten champs, especially in this year? Oops.
Oh man, I mean, it's given me life. It's given me a lot to cheer for, and completely unexpected, and kind of just what the doctor ordered in a lot of ways. And he did it. The team did it in probably one of the more unconventional ways. There wasn't really a true leader coming into the season in the Big Ten. I think we were picked to finish 5th or 5th or 6th in the league, which I thought was about right going into the season. I think that our teams are always going to be solid. But the last 4 seasons have been pretty much the epitome of mediocrity. Not horrible teams, not saying that we were getting into the tournament for anything. We deserve to be in the tournament most of those years, but to really just shut the water off on the entire Big Ten. When you watch this team play, they just mash people and just like make them submit to their energy and their will. You saw it. I would love to get some advanced stats on the last 10 minutes of these games in the Big Ten, because it seems like that's where we really pull away. Different story today. This was just a crescendo. We just took the game over from the jump. It was really the first game of the year that I felt so calm coming into, just because we already had wrapped the Big Ten up, and we could just focus on getting these seniors off with the right send off. And so happy for Jaden and the rest of those seniors, but Jaden especially, that he got to do what he got to do, and really got the pot stirred to begin this game too. And really is I think the player that started to blow the doors off this, even though he didn't end up with like a huge stat game. He was the one that kind of got things rolling today, and I was really happy to see that for him. So, interesting team. Certainly not the most talented team in that Tom Izzo's ever had. Not untalented though. I think Jace is one of the more talented freshmen I've ever seen, but just deep, so deep. And that's what we said coming into the year. That was one strength that we said that Michigan State had coming into this year was depth, and they exercised every ounce of that depth the entire year. And that's why I think after you get 30 minutes into a game, like these teams, we have fresh legs coming in off the bench and just a rotation of bigs and guards that just puts you in hell. I mean, honestly, God, like I would, first of all, I'm not a great basketball player in the first place, but imagine some of these guards in the Big Ten having nightmares over playing some of these our core guards on just get D'd up. I mean, they've got active hands. Even Jace, I mean, he's not known for his defense, but if you just put a spotlight on him, he's a good defender too. And he's probably the worst out of the bunch, and he's still a good defender. So man, it's just so nice to watch. I mean, we're homers. Obviously, this is a Michigan State video, but it just seemed like this team really likes each other, and to watch them go out and just belt to the entire Big Ten, 17-3 in the Big Ten, dude. That's insane.
It's insane.
Especially for this team, it's crazy. So
especially with the 4 additions to the Big Ten.
Say it again.
With the 4 additions, with Oregon, Washington. Well, Washington got eliminated from Big Ten play, but Oregon, USC, UCLA to still go 17-3.
And also, this team is very interesting too. That I keep on coming back to is so remarkably consistent the entire year. We dropped 5 games, obviously. None of the losses we have on this schedule were blowouts. We've never gotten blown out this year. We have been, obviously the games we've won, we're in the games. Every game we've lost, we've had a chance to the game to go the other way for the most part. So this team is remarkably consistent and wins in a lot of different ways. And they don't need to shoot well, obviously. If they can shoot well, I still think there's maybe a glass ceiling on this team. But if they can shoot well, if they come out and if they can hit 10 threes a game, like I don't know where this team can go, dude. Like that would, and it's starting to turn just ever so slightly in the last 4 games. They're not shooting a remarkably high percentage, but they're getting there. I like the fact that they're still getting them up, and they're hitting like 8 to 9 threes now, which takes those teams out of the zone just that much. And if we can, if Jaden can have a swan song in this tournament and get these guys going, and we can hit some threes, I mean, it's college basketball, man. I think we have just as good a shot as most teams. Now that it's very top heavy. I don't think we beat Auburn. I'm scared of Auburn.
Auburn, Alabama, Florida.
Alabama's scary. Florida. I mean, just basically
Houston.
SEC gauntlet. So we'll need some help. But I mean, outside, we're the next batch of teams that, like, if a couple of things break our way with how the tournament shakes out, like we might be in San Antonio. So we'll see.
All right, before I go, I got to read some comments. Shout out my boy Tomo, 0-2 in the Chipotle Bowl. Tomo here to say congratulations. Hey, man, congratulations to y'all, too. 2nd seed in the Big Ten. Shout out Maryland.
Yeah. Oh, is this your Maryland boy who owed you Chipotle? I heard a lot about that.
It's my guy, HOA, FJA, my guy right here. But, we got beef when it comes to baseball and college. But shout out my boy Teddy, Duke fan. He said, what up, fellas? And he says, Cooper Flag is into the chat. Yeah, Cooper Flag is a talented freshman, bro. No lie. You can't. But my man Jace is a star, too. Like, I say Cooper Flag like a superstar. My man Jace like a star in terms of freshmen. But yeah, we want Cooper Flag is all the respect in the world. My thought process, right? Love that we won the Big Ten. And for a lot of people, I'm going to start off by saying this. I know someone personally who said we should have fired Izzo 2-3 years ago. And I told him flat out, you're stupid. Why would we do that? And look at us now. He's like, well, he just ain't win lately. What do you mean he ain't win lately? He's been in the tournament. He went to the Sweet 16 2 years ago. What are you talking about? And look at us now. Big Ten champs have a really good chance of winning the tournament, have a chance to make a deep run. The tournament is the tournament, so anything can happen. But another thing I want to say is look what happens when Izzo used the portal. He brought over Tyson Walker, like I said, made the Sweet 16. He brought over Frankie Filer and Zapala, and we win the Big Ten outright. So just imagine, and he just used it for 2 players, and those 2 players, I don't.
Those are minor tweaks. Those are like marginal, like
big pieces.
No, I mean they're good pieces. Like they contribute for sure. They're not like the leaders of the team. I think a lot of that stuff is still going to be homegrown, and I think kind of maybe that's why the last 4 years. I mean, Izzo's been really outspoken on being adverse to using the portal, and that definitely came back to bite him. I think in these last couple of years with depth and specifically low post depth. And he's using it, and he's using it to tweak the roster, not build the roster, which I think is very, very different than how some of these programs are using it.
But yeah, I say that to say, like, that's what we said last year. We just want you to use it a little bit. Just, I know you're old school, you want to bring the talent and build them up, and we appreciate that. We love that. But you got to marry the 2, and I think he did a really good job this year marrying the 2. He got the 2 players he wanted. And he brought them in. They bought in, and they part of a Big Ten championship regular season. So I love that. Secondly, I want to say, like you said, the games we lost, we were in them. Like the only game I feel like we really got dominated in was the Memphis game. Those guards just put our guards in jail. Like
they were tough. That was
That was like kind of.
Yeah, the score was still we were still in that game, but it felt like a bigger lead than it actually was. I kind of think that they kind of bullied us in that game a little bit, but and Tom Izzo would agree with that too. That might have been the best thing we needed this year, honestly.
Yeah,
but man,
we went on a run after that. We didn't lose
Yeah.
it for 2 months right after that game.
Yeah.
So that's the only game I would say. But other than that, Indiana game, just things didn't go our way. Indiana hit some shots late in the game, and that zone. Oh my God, the fact that we couldn't get them out that zone pissed me off. But that game, I just felt like they were just hitting crazy shots at the end, and it was just no way. The UCLA game, we had a chance. They hit a buzzer beater to beat us. Hats off to them. They got it. I don't even remember the last loss we had.
USC.
Oh, that's right, USC.
We went out west, and yeah.
That was a part of West Coast.
It was kind of funny, that West Coast trip was.
Yeah,
it's so annoying when the most predictable thing happens, right? Like,
we said it before. We said
it before they went out there. Yeah, and it was a problem. But again, both in like really close, tight games. Like, I mean, both those games could have gone either way. But
yeah, I think Wesley Yates and Desmond Claude had really good games against us, and I like both players. Desmond Claude, transferred from Xavier, is a really good guard, and Wesley Yates, a talented freshman. So nothing, just take your hats off to them. But like you said, man, this season, really great season of consistency, depth. This team reminds me of and I know people probably gonna kill me in the comments for this because, oh my God, Carl, you exaggerating, but they remind me of the Warriors of 2015, the strength and number Warriors. Now, I'm not saying we'll win the championship,
but minus the shooting.
Yeah, the depth. I'm talking about in terms of the depth and how good we are. That's what this team reminds me of. Obviously, you can't say the shooting because we can't even shoot 30% from three for the season. It's bad. But we're getting better. We are getting better. And I even texted you during the game that Jaden might be back because Jaden hit threes against Iowa. He hit them, like you said, to start the game, he hit them threes against Michigan. He looks like he's starting to get his confidence back from beyond the yard. Jace Richardson, he's just going to knock down shots. He twisted his ankle, got up and hit a three.
I saw that. That was hilarious. I saw him hobbling, and then he got the kick out and just drained the three. Yeah,
exactly. That was crazy. So, but I think we are getting better at three. But I think this team is dangerous. This team deserves the Big Ten championship. And my last point is this: for all of y'all who said when we started off, when we were winning undefeated January, February, oh, they ain't play nobody. They ain't get into their tough part of the schedule yet. How do y'all feel now? I bet you don't feel smart, do you? Y'all tried to discredit us, and we tried to tell you, no, this team is good. We're not. It's not like we went in off like some fluke. It's not like we barely beat in the easy part of our schedule. Even though it's the Big Ten, there is no really easy part. There's gauntlet. The Big Ten's a gauntlet for sure. You just got to navigate through it. But look at us. The hard part of the schedule, we on a 7-game win streak.
Man, this is the craziest stretch of games I think I've ever seen. It does remind me, and again, the season gets kind of lost because of the way it ended, but Cash's senior year when we won the Big Ten title outright, regular season.
COVID.
Yeah, COVID year. We had a similar drought in the middle of the season, and then had about 5 or 6 games at the end of the season that were against all ranked opponents pretty much, and we won and went down the stretch undefeated and won that Big Ten title, and then obviously COVID hit. But yeah, I mean, dude, at Illinois,
we can't say that word. We can't say that word.
What word?
David.
Oh, darn. Word. Okay.
It's my fault. I said it. YouTube, please. It's an accident.
It did happen. I mean, the season got canceled.
You can't say it on YouTube, so we're
trying to erase it from the history books. Yeah. But okay, yes, a large scale pandemic happened, and the season was canceled. But I remember that was a very similar stretch of games going. I remember we were on the road against Maryland late in the season that year. We won that game, and we finished the season at home at the Brez against a ranked Ohio State team to win the Big Ten title. And Cash had a huge game, and it felt very similar. But to go, their last 6 out of your last 7 games against ranked opponents, win by 14, win by 9, win by 13. The Maryland game, the buzzer beater, you beat Wisconsin, ranked 11th at the time, by 10. the Iowa game, even though it was a 7-point game, we were up 18 at one point in the second half. And then today was just, even though Michigan made a late push to cut it to like 10 or 11 at the end, that was never, usually that would get me out of my seat and start sweating, but I wasn't even sweating at that point. I just knew we needed a stop, and it's pick your poison, because that happens too. And you don't know who's going to get you out of the funk. Trey comes down and hits huge 2 mid-range jumpers back to back. He might be my favorite player on this team. I love this kid. And I don't know if I was a big enough fan of his before, but
how I felt before this season. That's why I keep apologizing.
Yeah, I mean, dude, he really is starting to take
game before this season.
I mean, not even that. Like, he's really taken to embodying like the culture of Michigan State, because he's chippy as hell too, man. And he will talk, and then he'll also back it up. He's kind of becoming a big time prime time player, because he comes out in these moments where you need him.
And he performs. At a high level. He definitely does. But yeah, that's why I send my million apologies to Trey every chance, because man, he's elevated his game so much. And he's become, like you said, he's become the leader. He's the leader of the team. Him and I believe Jaden are the leaders of this team now. I mean, I would even say Jeremy at times. Jeremy takes control of the team. But Trey, I just love the evolution of Trey. I love the steps he's taking. And he's looking like he's going to be primed to lead us next year as well. But that's enough about the Big Ten Championship. We're going to go on to our next topic. I wish I knew how to bring the bracket up. I don't have the bracket up. I can bring it up on a different tab. But we're going to talk about the Big Ten tournament. Since we are the number 1 overall seed, we earned the double bye, which means we don't play until the quarterfinals, I believe. Yeah, we don't play to the quarterfinals. Yep. We don't play to the quarterfinals, where we will play Oregon and the winner of Oregon and Indiana, which
tough draw.
Yeah, very tough draw. I'm not gonna lie. And if we win that game, we will play the winner of UCLA and whoever they have to play, which is another tough draw. So I want your thoughts about the seeding of the Big Ten tournament as I pull it up.
Yeah, it's interesting. This kind of might sound like loser talk in a way, but I almost want them to lose early or win the whole thing. Like Indiana, Oregon are. We lost to Indiana, obviously. They put us in that zone, which I'm not sure if works now the way we're shooting a little bit better, because we really only need to shoot just a little bit better to get people out of the zone. We just can't be shooting atrociously. But Indiana is playing well. I've always thought Oregon, even though they had a little bit of a slump in the middle of the year too, they're a very talented team, and I actually think they are kind of a dark horse team in this tournament, in the NCAA tournament specifically, where they can potentially see the second weekend in the NCAA tournament. So it is, it's an 8-9. We get the winner of that, but I'm kind of done doubting this team, to be honest with you. I would honestly, outside of maybe Auburn, and you could throw maybe Florida or Bama in that. I'm not super scared of Duke. I would play anybody in the country, honestly. And I'm not going to start getting scared of like Oregon and Indiana. It is just a tough matchup. But again, one of the best things about this team is because we're so deep, we can kind of keep guys fresh. We don't need a bunch of rests like some other teams might need coming in before the NCAA tournament, just because nobody plays like crazy heavy minutes. And honestly, I like our chances in the Big Ten tournament. We consistently get up to play. I don't really ever see a game where we don't have like energy to play. And the way we just play this entire year, how could you not feel good about your chances in the Big Ten tournament? But obviously now it's one and done time. That does change the dynamic of some of these games a little bit. So it would be interesting to see how we can kind of carry over this momentum, but honestly, dude, play anybody, and I really feel good about our chances in the Big Ten tournament and beyond. Let me ask you a question, because I think this needs to be a topic. Hypothetical. Let's say Michigan State rolls through the Big Ten tournament, wins the Big Ten tournament, so we get the double championship. What needs to happen to get a number 1 seed?
So because right now would be Auburn, Duke, Houston, Florida.
Could we nab
I think
one of Florida or Houston potentially.
Nah, I kind of think we're cooked. Maybe Florida, but that means Bama would have to not do well in the SEC tournament because they're technically in front of us. St. John, who's in front of us, they would not have to do well. We might be cooked from a 1 seed. Even if we win it all, it might change something. If something crazy happens in the SEC tournament,
We need help. We need a
ton of help, and I think we
I'm
might
just
need
saying,
too
man,
much help.
I don't want to count my chickens, but like you win the Big Ten tournament, you're 29-5 and the Big Ten champion. And like, that'd be a crazy way. That would be crazy. Like in past years, you would look at that and say, that's a lock #1 seed.
Yeah, but then you look at the SEC, which is
I know it's a different year.
So yeah, I'm about to say they're heralding the SEC as the best conference ever. Like I've heard that
it might be. I mean, I've watched a little bit of that conference, and I sometimes turn it off because I'm like, that's scary. I don't want to play that. I don't want to play that.
So yeah, on most occasions, like you said, MSU wins the Big Ten with the record and everything like that. We're easily a 1 seed, but this year's just so different. And I don't see Houston having an early exit in the Big 12. And I don't see both Florida and Bama, who I believe are double buys. So that means they would have to lose instantly for us to have help. I don't see them losing instantly either. So we might be cooked. And I don't see St. John.
We're probably stuck on that 2 line for sure.
I think we're just a 2. I think we're just cooked.
But yeah, I mean, shoot, this team just gives you life. You love. I mean, I wonder from an outside perspective, if anybody has watched a lot of MSU hoops that's not an MSU hoops fan, what they think about this team. Like if it's a fun team to watch, if it's annoying basketball because we don't shoot very well. But obviously, as a MSU fan, it's been maddening, but also just so fun to watch this team sometimes, just because you'll look up and like. They haven't hit a 3 in like 10 minutes and they're up 14 somehow. And you're just, and you're watching the game almost pulling your hair out, but because it looks bad sometimes, but their defense, this is one of the best defensive teams I've ever seen.
Yeah. So like I told you before, it's defense and just getting out in transition, even though to the detriment somewhat to start the second half, it kind of was working against us. We were playing sloppy, turning the ball over, but that's what it is, man. We just play defense. We get out in transition. We go get easy buckets. But also, I think which is really underrated about our offense is late clock composure. We don't lose our composure late clock. We get into our late clock sets. We get the ball either to Trey, Jaden, run the screen at the top, and let them do what they do. They either go downhill, attack downhill and score. They attack downhill and create something for like Carson Cooper on a lob or Corn Carr, or maybe a backdoor cut for like Jackson Kolar. I think our late shot clock composure really, really underrated about this offense, and our ability to, just attack the rim. And our bigs, I think our bigs are underrated. The ability to go and get lobs, the ability to set screens, things like that. I think that's really underlooked when you look at MSU offensively, because the 3-point shooting is so loud. The fact that we don't make them, it is loud. Yeah.
It's just been such an incredible season, honestly. Like, and honestly, where it really changed, and where I think is. It's a huge compliment to Trey Holloman, because he starts the year in the starting lineup, or no, he starts off the bench because it's a loaded guard class, just like at Michigan State right now. He gets rewarded with good play and gets to start, but then Jace comes on so strong towards the end of the year, you can't deny him minutes. So then he goes back to the bench, and Trey just says, I don't care. He's like, just give me the same number of minutes. Let me finish some games. And like, this team just plays for each other. And you never saw Trey that affect Trey at all coming off the bench, starting. He's a gamer. He's just absolutely a gamer. He's like, just make sure that I'm playing the same amount of minutes. And Jace is really what makes this team, I think, dangerous, because like you said, I can't think of how many late shot clock situations that Jace is just getting the ball and just being crafty. He plays the game like he's played college basketball for like 20 years, and he's 19 years old. And it'll be interesting to see. I'm probably 70-30 confident that he'll leave because he's earned it and he'll be a lottery pick. I wonder what his dad's saying. to him.
I don't think Lotto.
And
I don't think he's
and
Lotto.
I mean, you might not think that, but he's a lottery pick on every draft board. So I mean, that just depends. I haven't seen him not in a lottery pick on any draft board in the last couple of weeks. Not like he's not going top 5. He's going like 10th and 11th. But I wonder what he does. It's going to be interesting to see what he does. Because if he comes back next year, you just reload that guard room, and it's just minus Jaden.
Yeah. Lose Jaden. And then,
oh my God,
who knows who we either recruit or who wants to transfer? I mean,
I'm you get Kohler back. Kohler and Cooper are back.
Yep. And Booker's back, and I think
He's got to get better.
I think he takes a step forward next year. I
hope so.
Conditioning, I think he gets a little bit bigger because I think his issue is just too small right now. So, like, if you put him against bigger guys, they just take advantage of his size. But offensively, you can use him because he's a stretch 4. But I think he takes a step forward. But I want to talk about the Big Ten tourney real quick. So like you said, I agree. We took kind of a crazy draw, but that's just the Big Ten. We get a 1 seed, and your reward for getting the 1 seed is you play the winner of Indiana or Oregon, who Indiana's been playing really good basketball of late, And the same as Oregon. Oregon's been playing really good basketball. And you know me. I think Dana Altman is one of the best coaches in the country. So
I do too.
That's a crazy draw. And then not only that, you beat them. If you beat them, you play the winner of UCLA and whoever they play. And UCLA is a scary team, in my opinion, in the Big Ten tournament. But like you said, it's the Big Ten. It is what it is. You just got to deal with it. I don't care if we lose early. I'm kind of on the same mind frame as you, just because like 1-7 straight. Like, all right, if we lose one, now's the time to lose it because tourney time, it's all or nothing.
It's not going to affect our seed at this point, like we just talked about. Yeah, so not too worried about it.
Cool, whatever. Let's just get ready for the actual tournament. But I do honestly want that Big Ten title as well. Like, obviously, you want the regular season title and the tournament title. You want both. I don't even remember the last time that's been done. Well, Purdue probably last year, right? Didn't Purdue do it last year? No,
No, Illinois won.
Illinois
won the tournament. Year, right? Illinois won the tournament. Yep.
Or was that 2 years ago with Io? Because I don't think Io was with. Did Terrence Shannon and them win it last year? I gotta Google that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they did. Yeah.
But I would love to have both. But it's a crappy draw. And then not only that, if we do hang on to beat the winner of UCLA and whoever they play, we possibly play Maryland in the championship. Those are 3.
Oh yeah, I mean at that point you could play. I mean, look, dude, there's some dangerous teams in this league still. I mean, like, honestly, even though Purdue kind of, fumbled the bag against Illinois the other night, which late in games, they kind of annoy me, but it's like for like 35 minutes of every game I've watched them, they play really well. Braden Smith is I know a lot of people don't like him, but he is that dude. And Illinois been, if they're hitting shots, they are very good. Rutgers can be dangerous with the fact that they have 2 lottery picks in their backcourt. Actually, what's actually hilarious? The team that I'm least afraid of playing right now on that other side of the bracket is Michigan, and they're the 3 seed. Oh, yeah. I've never seen someone limp into a game and just be fed to a team like cattle like that in a really long time. Because they just jumped all over them.
Yeah, they're 2-4 in their last 6. They're to beat Rutgers at home.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree. I'm not scared of Michigan whatsoever.
Yeah, Maryland's starting 5, maybe the best starting 5 in the Big Ten across the board. But yeah, like going back to your comment, I'm just thinking about how deep this team is. In past years when Izzo has certain lineups on the court and you're just like waiting for the under 8 timeout to get some of these players out of here. I very rarely do I ever look at a lineup that Michigan State has on the floor and don't like it. Like sometimes Booker's on the floor and I'm like, okay, we need to get Booker off the floor here. But like they're so deep, like they just have 10 players at all times that can play, and they all pretty much play. They've all played so many different lineups. Like they all play well together too. I'm not afraid of any lineup that's on the floor. Yeah.
By the way, you were right. Illinois did win it. Terrence Shannon was tournament MVP.
Yeah. He had probably I got his number retired.
Yeah, I was about to say, didn't he have like 30 or something like that in the championship game? Like
he was going nuts at the end of the season. He was going crazy.
I remember he was going crazy. But yeah, all in all, I would love to have both, but we gotta fight before the fight to get both.
Yep. We just need to stay healthy, man. That's the biggest thing. Stay healthy.
Oh, I missed some comments before we go to the last topic. Oops, that's the wrong comment. They didn't show up. My boy Teddy says Izzo got a big legacy. Absolutely. He's not leaving until he can't do this anymore. Absolutely. And
he can still do this, man. This guy has so much energy. It's insane.
Yeah.
He's smart as a whip still, dude. He really impresses me at his age, honestly.
Yep. And last comment, Kev, go Terps, UMD go Terps. He doesn't watch college basketball at all. He's just saying. But shout out to you for watching, Kev. You're still my guy.
I root for Maryland when we're not playing them. I don't have anything against Maryland.
Hey, look. I used to
not. You're closer quarters, so I don't know if you have.
No, I used to not care. Like, it's whatever. Like, they win, lose, whatever. But now, since Tomo, and it's not even Tomo's fault. It's a guy named Worm fault that we beefing like this at UMD in Maryland. But he just, he started it and backed out. And now Tomo's left to handle it. But it's Worm's fault. And Worm, if you're watching, you know it's your fault. Why is UMD?
It's usually Worm's fault.
Like that.
I've had a couple friends named Worm too, and it's usually their fault, I gotta say.
Yep. So last topic of this before we sign out, just some thoughts going forward about the team. Maybe how far we talked about ceiling. So we'll briefly just say our ceiling for the team in terms of the tournament. But just some thoughts moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, I'll kind of go on my expectations. Most fans that you talk with overtalk their teams a lot and will have lofty expectations. I always try to guard myself with my own expectations. It's a defense mechanism because I've been hurt so much by the Bears. But I don't know what else to say other than I want to be in a Final Four, man. I want to play for a national championship. And they have the ability to do that clearly. They just went through one of the craziest gauntlets of games that I've seen, and just handled business pretty convincingly on each one. So I mean, I think we can win the Big Ten tournament. I think we're the clear favorites to win the Big Ten tournament. Obviously, you can get tripped up. The goal for me is to get to the NCAA tournament healthy. So as long as that happens. Depending on what bracket we're in, because if Auburn's in our bracket, then I'm a little. We're going to need them to lose, I think, before we play them somehow. But honestly, yes, I think Alabama's better than us. Most days, I think Florida can be better than us most days. But those are teams that I'm not chalking up to automatic L's. I think we're not favored in those games for sure. I'm pretty sure Auburn wins that game 9 times out of 10. So as long as we can avoid them, I am expecting a deep run in this tournament. We need to get to the second weekend, Carl. We absolutely need to get to the second weekend at a bare minimum. And then after we get to the second weekend, look up Izzo's record in the second weekend, bro. Once he gets to that second weekend, he is typically pretty deadly in those back-to-back games.
Still pissed about Marquise Noel and that alley-oop.
I know. That's really the only one. And that was a crazy one.
God. That one hurt.
That was so brutal. That one
hurt. That game hurt, bro.
Yeah.
But you're right.
You're
right. We should have won that game. We played well enough to win that game. But K-State, hats off to them. Marquise Noel was absolutely one of my favorite players in college. Just absolutely excellent game.
I hate it. We usually get those because Marquise Noel I love too, and then I remember playing Shabazz Napier in the Elite Eight game too.
God, yeah.
And that one sucked because I love Shabazz, but man, he didn't have.
That's when we was in school, wasn't we?
Yeah, we were in school then.
Yeah, I remember that too. Oh God. Last team, by the way, I looked up to win both was Illinois in 2021 with Ayo Dosunmu. I think that was the last team to win both. But shout out Ayo, by the way, absolute stud.
Yeah, I love him on the Bulls too. It's a Chicago guy.
Yeah.
He's great.
Yeah. My thoughts is bare minimum we back into the second week. I don't want to see us lose in first round, especially as a 2 seed. Now I get it. I, for one, am a proponent of these mid-major schools, so I get it. But we are too deep and too good to not make it at least to the Sweet 16. That's my floor. My ceiling, Final Four, man. Like you said, I remember 2019 with Cassius and them. I felt like we should have beat Texas Tech. And if we'd have beat Texas Tech, I feel like we would have dog walked Virginia. But you can tell Bobby,
that was the most wide open. That was the most wide open Final Four that we've been in recently, where we had probably as equal or better chance than anybody else in that. We fumbled that bag. Other years we got outmatched.
I felt so good once we beat Duke in that Elite Eight with Zion. And I said, "Oh yeah, we going."
Oh yeah,
and then
that was the best team in the country.
Oh, we lost it. Oh. I can't even remember my boy's name. That was the star player. I remember Matt Mooney, but I can't remember Jared Culver. Shout out Jared Culver, man.
Yes.
Lead player for Texas Tech, but I felt like we should have beat them. And then I did think we'd have beat Ty Jerome, Cal Guy, DeAndre Hunter at UVA. Even though that's a really good team.
That's a really good team.
But I think we would have beat them. But yeah, those are my thoughts, man. Thoughts going forward. I want us to win the Big Ten. I think we absolutely have the team, obviously, to win the Big Ten tournament. 3 games away from that. And I want us to our floor to me is second Sweet 16, second weekend. Ceiling, Final Four, playing for a natty. Now, again, like you said, teams I'm scared of. Auburn, Bama, Houston. You know what's crazy? I'm not scared of Duke. I'm not.
I'm not either. I'm
not afraid of Duke. Duke is a really good team. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, they're good.
ACC was weak. ACC
and they're not deep.
Weak.
I mean, they have a very talented team. They are not deep, though. They're very top heavy.
I think they're really talented, but I think with Duke, the difference is our bigs aren't going to be. I think with their bigs, their activity and stuff, they could kind of do a lot to suffocate the ACC, I should say. I mean, obviously, Cooper Flagg running the show is really a part of the crew. Like, he's
the best player,
phenomenal.
Probably.
I'm not going to say we're going to shut him down, though. He's probably going to have a good game against us. But those bigs, I don't think are going to be a big factor against us. Like Malik Brown, I love Malik Brown. I talk about Malik Brown all the time, especially defensively. I think he'll do a good job, but I don't think he'll be Malik Brown. Isaiah Evans, love Isaiah Evans. I don't understand how he don't get I don't understand how he doesn't get more minutes. Boy's a baller, and he brings the electricity off the bench. But I think our guards will do a really good job against Isaiah Evans because we'll run him off the 3-point line. And then we just got to deal with Cooper Flagg and Con Knipple, another guy who I think will, with Izzo's game plan, I think he'll have probably a decent game. Obviously, the main target would be Cooper Flagg. But I don't think the guys like Con Knipple and Isaiah Evans will have great games or games needed to beat us. I think we can beat Duke. But, yeah, I'm scared of more so, like I said, Houston, Bama, Auburn, teams that can defend but score in bunches are main teams that I'm scared of.
Bama can score, man. Oh, they can put the ball in the basket, and that's sometimes what we're the worst at. So
yeah, like if we play like Kentucky, I wouldn't be scared either. Now Kentucky still had Jackson Robinson and Kirk Carissa, maybe, but they're a little banged up. I wouldn't be scared of Kentucky, but those are like the 3 teams. Maybe Tennessee. I might be a little nervous going against Tennessee. Maybe a little nervous going against St. John's. But other than that, I'm cool.
I mean, yeah, there's good teams at the end of the day. I'm just talking about, like, when we show up to a game, like, do we know where we can be in? Like, those games I think we would be in. Whether you win or lose, I kind of think comes down to the margins. Like, yes, we could lose those games. We could very well win those games too. If we play Auburn, I'm just there to have a good time. I'm not expecting very much. I've seen that team play just like 3 or 4 times this year, and it's visually better. Like, you know, like you could look at the stats and stuff, but like they visually look a lot better than so many teams. I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah. And I know I said I was scared of Florida. I take that back only because Florida has an issue sometimes where they get down big in games. And I think if we get up on Florida big, I don't think they come back. Because they come back a lot relying on the 3-ball a lot with Will Richard and Walter Clayton. But if we go big on Florida, I'm not worried. Florida almost dropped one to South Carolina, and they should have lost that game. I don't understand how South Carolina lost it. Sick about that. But, yeah, Bama, the reason why Bama scares me is because they chuck up threes and hit them at a high rate. Like, Nate
it's guard play. Like, honestly,
you to shoot the 3-ball.
The teams I'm scaredest about, I think, are the ones that have like exceptional guard play, and Sears is maybe the best point guard in the country.
He should be an All-American. Okay,
I
cool.
think he is.
They had Braden Smith over him as All-American. And I know you say a lot of people dislike Braden Smith. I'm not a Braden Smith hater. I actually like Braden Smith. I think he's actually a good player. But Mark Sears to me is a better player than Braden Smith. Mark Sears is the All-American guard. If you ask me to pick between the two, I'm picking Mark Sears.
I feel you on that. I watch more Braden Smith, but honestly, I wouldn't disagree with that. Braden Smith, I think, actually just gets more hate than he should get. He is an exceptional player.
He's pesky. He's a defender. He's going to steal the ball.
He's savvy too. Like he
I see why
plays,
people like him.
You watch him play. He plays just at his own pace. Like he's not sped up at all. He knows what everybody's doing. I think he's a great player. But yeah, it's not a Purdue channel.
Yeah, nah. But I see why people dislike him, bro. I don't. I think he's a good player. And honestly,
do you respect his beard?
Of course.
As another sweet beard goer yourself,
yeah,
what do you think
sweet.
about it?
It's
a pretty full beard, I gotta say.
That's weird of mine. I think Braden Smith is like what people wanted Aaron Kraft to be.
Somebody just said that to me before. Someone says like, "Oh, that's Aaron Kraft if he was actually a good basketball player." I was like, "Yeah, true."
That's just my opinion, though. But it's been a great show. Actually, longer show than I thought. Any last words before we sign off?
No, man, just party on, and it'll be a nail biter. This is entering the time of the year where it's a lot of fun, but then a lot of times just like extremely stressful. So let's stick together, and I think we can get out of this alive.
All right, my last words is this. Shout out to Tom Izzo and the boys' well-deserved Big Ten championship. Like you said, man, Spartans will, all that good stuff. That's, one game at a time. Let's win the Big Ten championship. If we lose, I'm going to be sick, but it is what it is. Rather lose now than lose early in the tournament. So it is what it is. Let's make a tourney run, man. The fans, the players, Izzo, everyone deserves it. Let's get back to a Final Four.
America deserves an Izzo run.
Hey, man, I ain't going to speak for America, man. Hey, but I'm not mad at
America
you, though. I co-sign
loves
it, but I ain't going to do it. I co-sign I ain't going to say it. But it's been 6 years. It's been 6 years since our last Final Four. Definitely would love to see it again. And shout out Jace, man. Shout out Jace being the star that we needed, stepping up huge. And, just doing his thing on the court. He's been getting 20. I think he's been getting 20, the last 4 or 5 games. Probably just been on a crazy run. Yeah, he's in
his bag.
Yeah, just a crazy run. I will be live later again. I got to do this week in college basketball. Don't know what time I'm going to be live because we still got some tournaments going on. Arkansas State and South Alabama is currently playing right now in the Sun Belt semifinals. If you watched earlier episodes, I picked Arkansas State to win the Sun Belt championship. They're up 4 with 2:50 left in the second half. So shout out Arkansas State. But Luke, if you have nothing else, that's all I got for y'all so far. Thank y'all for tuning in to CTC, and I'll be back later. Peace.
Thank you for staying to the end. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like this video, subscribe, and also hit that notification button so you can be notified next time we put out a video. If you're listening on any podcast platform, subscribe and hit that notification button, y'all, so you can be notified we put out another podcast audio. And last but not least, hit that share button. No matter what you're listening to or watching it, hit that share button and send it to somebody that you know that would love to watch this episode you just listened to. So once again, thank you for staying to the end, and we'll see y'all in the next episode.